All right, welcome back. Roy Boy Standard. I'm Will Roy here with my brother Chris Roy. And today's a little impromptu episode because it's a special day. It is Chris's birthday.
Yeah, buddy.
This dude is 28 years old.
That's
And
it sounds really old to me.
dude, here's the thing though. It sounds old to you. I can remember clearly what you were like at 8 years old.
I don't even remember what I was like at 8 years old.
That's the crazy part is I remember you super young.
That's the thing too. Like we're super close and everything, and obviously I've known you my whole life, but like essentially you've known me longer than I've known you because I mean there was like I didn't like you were 8, 9 years old when I was like a little baby. Like I've never experienced that before. So like
Yeah.
it's weird to think like you you probably have better recollection of me like as a 5-year old, as a 6-year old, as an 8-year old than I even do because I just was so young and just didn't have the presence of mind to really remember or anything going on. So
Well, dude, not only that, like I remember some of the hardest parts for me growing up when you were young is when we were at the babysitter. When Ma would drop us off the babysitter and the babysitter was responsible for putting us on the bus and shit. I would have to take you next door to like our backup babysitter. And this was in a trailer park. And I remember you hated going there. And dude, you would cry and latch onto my leg when I try to drop you off. Dude, it fucking broke my heart. Now I know we're parents. Like, I feel like that part of me has left. Like, I don't have that part. But man, that would kill me leaving you, like, having to pry you off my leg. Like, that
yeah,
was,
I don't say I don't remember that at all.
yeah, dude.
Like I don't even know what you're talking about. like
It was,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't really recall too much. Like I have very vivid memories of when I was younger. Like I feel like my memories don't start until I was like 10, 11, almost really.
yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty much true. I mean, I have like very vivid images of when I like back when I was probably like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, like very vivid, like
yeah.
very short clips.
Yeah, exactly. Like you like just random it's not almost not even clips, it's like just images really. Like I have just random images of like just a regular normal day in like first grade.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing special about that day, but for some reason there's just like one, I don't know, like it's weird. But yeah, man. It's weird for me just because, you know, Steph, our older sister, she's like 3 or 4 years older than you, 10 years older than me, and then you're 7.5 years older than me. So like growing up, like I was always the youngest one around. Like everybody was always at least 5, 6, 7, 10 years older than me. Whether it's you hanging out with your friends or your friends coming over or staff or whatever it may be. I just always kind of hung around a crowd that was a lot older than me. Um, but so basically, just coming up, I'm always the youngest one around. You're always the youngest one in the room, and it's not being the case anymore. it's kind of it's messing with me a little bit. 30 years old is kind of breathing down my neck a little bit, and you know, I like I when I was younger, I never thought that I would see myself at 30 years old or see myself as a 30-year-old. It's just it sounds weird just because like in my head I'm still 17, 18
Yeah.
years old.
And it doesn't change. Like in my head, I'm still 19 years old. Like I find myself, this is the weird part is when I'm around, which doesn't happen too often anymore, but when we're around like our uncles or like older crowd, like I still have that like 15-year-old mindset where like I'm not going to cuss around them or I'm not going to like say anything bad or naughty around them. Like
Yeah,
even though like they fully expect me to.
well, that's good though. I mean, it's a respect thing at the same notion. Like that's a good thing that you don't lose that. You should respect your elders and all that. But and yeah, like I'm the same way. It's just like it's just the dynamic of the relationship, and that should never change. Um, but yeah, man, it's weird. It's weird for sure to start thinking about that stuff. But it is what it is. It's better than the alternative. Getting older is better than the alternative.
What do they say? Like getting older is not bad. It's a privilege or something like that. Or it's,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's and obviously circumstances like times are weird right now, so it's not like a normal kind of birthday, but still nonetheless, it's a beautiful day outside. Couldn't ask for it's probably the one of the best days of the year so far. So, that's always good too.
yeah. Yeah. So we gonna celebrate later. We have some margaritas, some pizza. No
Yeah.
social distancing happening in Roy Boy's standard world today.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm done with social distancing.
So, um, like I said, today impromptu episode. So probably won't get a ton of value out of it, but I do have actually kind of two questions for you that I didn't prepare him for this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You literally just texted me like 20 minutes ago. Say, hey, let's record. I was
so,
like, okay.
yeah, I was watching a Jotco podcast, and I was just like, oh, we should record for Chris's birthday. Um, so here's two questions, and like I said, I haven't prepared Chris. He doesn't even know these are coming, so this is going to be a raw answer. Um, at this point in your life, what did you think you would have accomplished or done that you haven't?
Man, you know, I really at this point, I don't know. Like I said earlier, like I almost like never saw myself getting this old. Like it was hard for me to picture that, but um, it's tough to say because like when I first got into all this, like I mean, this, like when I first got into lifting and all that stuff, like I wanted to be a fitness model. Like that was like, and that dream didn't hold very much water for very long. Um, but it's ever my goals or my dreams or whatever you want to call them is kind of ever evolving. I think at some point every young kid when he gets to into training or getting into a job at a gym or something, like you're kind of end state goal, or at least a thought that crosses your mind at some point is like, oh man, it'd be awesome to have my own gym one day and stuff like that. And I have my facility that I run and all that stuff, and it's great. But I would say my goal, and I guess this can kind of go in line, I guess it kind of all wraps into one, but whether it was me wanting to be a fitness model, and obviously that whole concept and dream was very heavily influenced by Greg Plitt, who was very impactful on both of us, especially when I first got into it. He was a fitness model, and like that's kind of why I wanted to do that. But I think that was more or less, not, I don't think, now that I'm older and can look back on it, I don't think it was necessarily the fitness modeling that I wanted to do. I think it was just, I wanted to be impactful like he was. So, whether it be me wanting to be a fitness model, having my own gym, I think ultimately it was, I wanted to be a person that could, have impact on other people. And I've had that to some extent, and I've even had multiple people already text me this morning for happy birthday and kind of even expressing that I've done that for them. But I would say not to the extent that I want. I really want to uh, make a very large impact on other people's lives, but also just the health and fitness and strength industry as a whole. Just because I love it so much, and I want to give something back. I want my name to actually stand in the industry. I don't know if I ever plan on that happening by 28 years old, but I would like that to happen by the time, I die.
Maybe by the time you're 48 years old.
Yeah. So, just to have my name stand for something in the industry. And obviously that'll happen through making a large impact on people's lives, because that's how you make an impact in this industry. So
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, when you look at it too, and I'm very narrow sighted when it comes to this. I don't think of, I think too, I don't want to say lowly of myself, but I don't think about, so me and you have been in this area for a while, 10 plus years for me. No, not really.
not as long, not as long for me. Apparently, we just found this out.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it's been a lot longer. I got like a Facebook memory saying that like I passed my NASM. It was the first certification I took. It was like 8 years ago. I'm like, man, I've only been doing this for 8 years. I feel like it's been longer. So
Yeah. So like, I mean, so when you talk about impact or like being known, like relatively, like both of us in this area are pretty known, and like you don't really think about the fact that like we're known for being good trainers or, more good. I think we're known for being just good dudes in general. Um, but most people know us in this industry around town. Like, and if you ever like take a step back and think about that, like that's pretty good accomplishment in itself. There's probably accountants and shit that have been in this area for 20, 25 years that probably nobody even knows about until you look them up on Google or something. So I don't know. Like, I think that's something that's an accomplishment there that you don't really ever think about. Um,
yeah, well, and I actually thought about this, like, because I got one of these texts on my walk. It was it was actually a former client, one that I haven't worked with in probably 5 6 months, and I haven't really spoken to them in several months either. But they still texted me early this morning, wishing me a happy birthday and telling me that I've truly made an impact on their life, and there's only a handful of people that they could say that for, which it's super cool when you think about it. But like, I understand what you're saying when you like. It's not that you underestimate yourself or undervalue yourself or anything like that, but like, you know, it's just me. Like, it's just I like, especially like when it comes to like that client or whatever it may be. Like, I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I'm passionate about, and like this is my way of life, and I'm just trying to pass that on to other people and help them, any way I can. So like I don't look at it as me doing that. I'm just doing what I do.
right.
And so when you do like the wealth of knowledge that I've built up over the past 10 years, all the training I've done, and the practicing my craft and all these things, like it's not work to me. Like it was enjoyable. I loved doing it. Like, I don't want to say it was easy. It was easy to do, like, because I love it, but like not necessarily easy work. But because I love it, I don't look at it like a grind or a task or work like that. So when it comes to actually when you're passing these things on to other people, you don't even realize, essentially what you're doing, just because it's so seamless and second nature for me to just be this way. You don't necessarily understand the kind of impact that you can have on people. Um, and that's the case a lot of times. And it's cool when you're presented with an opportunity for them to kind of communicate that with you. So but I understand what you're saying. Like, like I said, I'm not looking at myself like that, but it happens just because it's just us doing what we do.
Yeah. Like I had a moment when I was going through a tough time, and one of my clients, remember Paul, um, who I
Yeah.
trained with for a while, great guy. Like I learned a ton from him. Um, Dude, it was like I trained him at 6 in the morning, and he saw that I was struggling, and like he pulled me aside and like told me what I've done for him. Dude, I started crying in the gym. Like, thank God it was freaking like super early in the morning. and I don't think anybody was there. Um, but like you don't realize it, and like when you're in it, you don't realize it, and it's not until you have moments like that where you're like, holy shit, like I was just showing up at 6 a.m. to train you. Like I didn't realize,
Yeah,
like
like
you would look at me as like he's like you're the reason I'm here. Like I'm responsible to you. So like I show up and this is what you've done for me. And it's like, I mean, those moments are cool and it's hard. Like I dismiss them a lot. And me and you have talked about this before. Like, I don't know if it's humility or being humble or whatever. I just don't like being complimented. Like
yeah,
it's one of those things where I'm just like I don't know.
yeah. I can't accept a compliment. Like I'm the same way. Like I don't know what it stems from, but
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd like to talk to like a psychologist about that.
yeah, I don't know. Like it's weird. I had a client, not too long ago pay me like an extremely flattering compliment, and like it's instant uncomfortable. Like I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like I try to like change the subject, or I'll try to like play it down. Like, like someone tells me like, oh, you're looking big. See, like you're looking jacked right now. And like, I'm like, oh, I'm like light right now. Like I'm not
Yeah, you
like,
immediately cut yourself down. Immediately,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, exactly. Like I try to knock myself back down a couple pounds. Like, no, dude, I'm like 180. I'm like 184 right now. Like I'm small right now. Like I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what that is, but it's easier to take them in text because it's not like I
yeah.
can just thank you. But like when it's in person, man, it's tough. It's yeah, it just makes me uncomfortable. So
Um,
same way.
so yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just how it is. I don't know. Probably, I don't know. Like I said, it'd be interesting to talk to somebody about that, why it's like that. But so got that one. Here's another one. Is your life right now, now that you're 28 today, even though this probably won't air for another day or so. Actually it's Thursday. I should air it today.
Yeah.
Um, is your life the way you thought it would be at this age right now? Like and I'm not talking just career, I'm talking like, I mean, you're married, you own a home, you own a gym or run a gym, partially own or whatever it is. Like, is your life what you thought it would be?
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, I think in certain instances, like yes and no. You know, I didn't think that I would be married. Just because, yeah, I don't know. That was it wasn't like I never not wanted to get married. It's just, I never thought of that like actually happening. But I mean, not to say that I'm not glad that it did. Like I am, I'm glad that it did. And like my wedding day was like by far probably like the best day of my life for sure. But yeah, I mean, owning a home and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, it's like it's weird because when you plop yourself at my current situation, you see all these things like married, have a house, run and own a business, and all these things like that. Like, oh wow, like that's a lot of things like I never might have seen myself happening. But when it's over the course of 10 years and things happen here, things happen there, like you don't really realize like, holy shit, like I am a grown up a little bit. Like you don't really, things happen over time, and it kind of develops that way. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I really don't think about the future too much. So it's tough to say like if I thought I would have this life. I mean, essentially no. I guess I would say no, just because I don't. I just kind of focus on what's right in front of me at the moment, and just try to whether that be you know career driven or something personal or something like that, I try not to live too far into the future. But and that's something I've been trying to work on lately more, especially like setting goals and things like that. But I've never been big into that, up until probably the last year or so. And like thinking more future, long-term, goal-oriented type of person. I've really just stuck in the day-to-day. I'm a foot soldier, man. So, I tackle each day one at a time. So I guess no. I didn't think I would have this kind of life, but
Yeah. I mean, understand. I mean, I'm definitely, dude, the way my life's taking shape, no chance in hell if you would ask 20-year-old me, like where I'd be right now. No way.
yeah, I think it's also the nature of the type of lifestyle that we live, or even just like the careers we have. You can't really dwell too far into the future. Especially like you like work super long days and everything. Like, what's it gonna, obviously I can have like a soft goal like a year from now or something like that, but you know when you're working with tons of people every day, like you can't dwell too far into the future. Like, live in the moment, be present in the moment, and try to put forth your best foot forward every day. And I think that's ultimately because maybe I live so much in the present and just try to put all my time and attention and my focus on the present day, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm a you know fairly successful coach and helping make it an impact on people's lives, just because I am so focused on the now and not necessarily what the future holds. So I think if you live for the moment, live in the present, and put your best effort forward in the present, then the future will take care of itself.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. I even like that. I don't really like most of what you have to say. That's a good little soundbite right there. That's a soundbite for Soch. Um,
Yeah.
so all right, we'll switch gears, wrap this up. I didn't want this to be super long. Plus I need to eat breakfast. Uh training wise, let's get into the gritty. What have you noticed now that you're 28? Like injuries, nagging little things, like what's changed? Like what are you noticing, if any? It doesn't have to be anything, but like maybe even eating wise, like what you can't handle anymore that you used to as you're gotten older. Um,
I would say, so training wise, it like when I was and it's just like the more I've learned and everything, like the more just pissed off I get at myself. But I can't even say that either, because I wouldn't be where I am today without living what I went through or the experiences I've had. But man, I really handicap, like, it's no secret I like to be as strong as I possibly can, and I like being jacked, even though I'm not jacked right now, but I'm working on it. um, that I really, handcuffed myself on, essentially my potential ceiling for definitely, at least for size. Um, the way that I trained, from 17 to 23, just being, the typical bodybuilding split, always working into like the 10 to 15 rep ranges and supersetting everything and just super high volume, like,
focused on abs.
yeah, oh yeah, all about the abs and being cut and all that stuff. And like, man, if I could go back and change and just focus on like just trying to put size on and like eat a shitload of food, like I feel like I could be easily like walking around, easily maintaining like 200, 205, the way that my body wants to maintain like 185 right now. Like I have no doubts about that. Um, so basically, long story short, what I'm getting at here is like the training I was doing when I was younger really wasn't anything I really needed to recover from. So like I can't really, like, doing an arm day, just a day of arms, or a chest workout where I'm doing cable flies and stuff, like that's not like just beating me up. You know, my nervous system isn't being taxed or anything like that. So recovery wise, I can't really tell too much. I do notice like I'm more susceptible to inactivity. Like I notice like it has a more profound effect on me if like I sit around all day. Like I definitely, you know, and like athletic endeavors. Like, you know, grabbed me 8 years ago. Like I could have been sitting around for 3 hours, like, hey, you want a ball? Want to play some basketball? Like, yeah, I'll spring up, we'll head right out and we'll start playing. Play for 2 hours, and like next day I'll wake up and we could do it again if I wanted to. But like we played basketball for the first time in like 2 years, like a few months ago. And like I was messed up for a long time. Like my right knee wasn't right for like 6 months. So like definitely, you know, however you want to kind of whatever umbrella you want to put that under, just I guess suppleness, readiness, overall readiness. Like you definitely got to take time, warm up, and just ease into things that your body's not used to. Like I was used to lifting heavy and slow and all that stuff, and then going into a fast athletic activity like that for 2 hours probably wasn't the best thing. My body just wasn't as respondent as it used to be to things like that. So that's probably the biggest one that I've noticed, because that was a big eye opener for me. And that's why I, basically switched my training around a little bit after that and just been consistently sprinting and jumping and stuff like that. So that's
Yeah,
a big
I mean, I could chime in, like being damn near 8 years older than you. I see, even though playing basketball didn't really mess me up, um, like it did you. I notice like that I don't even know if it's age. I think it's just we stopped doing it, to be honest with you. Because like I said, I was just on the pod. Well, wasn't on the pod. I was watching Jocko's podcast. That'd be badass to be on Jocko's podcast. But pretty sure he only has like military guests. But like he's really big into Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he trains every day. And he says like, yeah, he's beat up and he's sore and stuff. But like, dude, he's 40. I think Jocko's 48 or something, 45, 48. Dude, if you like 48 and he's still doing like jiu-jitsu, you're twisting, you're turning. Like, I feel like you if you're not doing, like, you have to do that to some extent, like rolling. Like I was doing somersaults in the gym the one day, and dude, I was so fucking sore from that. Like just trying to get my body to move like that again.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like that's not even debatable. Like that's a fact. Like that's the reason I was so messed up from it, was because we went years without playing, and in those years, I was basically, if you want to look at like a spectrum of stresses on the body. You have basketball, which is straight, fast, cutting, stopping, jumping, very high impact, very high on the elastic components of your muscles and tendons and connective tissues, because the movements and stuff are so quick, landing from jumping, all those things. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, you basically have what I was doing for like those 2 years, lifting heavy, lifting. When you lift heavy, it's not necessarily moving fast. So it's very slow loading of tendons, ligaments, things like that. When you're doing heavy squats or anything like that, like it's basically, look at a heavy back squat and then look at jumping up to grab a rebound or grab the rim. Like it's a complete opposite thing, like the speed of the movement, all that stuff. So it was a complete opposite type of stress that my body was used to. And that's why it was just so messed up. Like it just was not ready for that. And like we did zero introduction, like, or zero segue or anything like that. Like it was 0 to 100. Like we shot around for like 5-10 minutes and then went right into like 3 competitive games of, straight street ball, and for like 2 hours. So, just but, if you would have done that 8 years ago, if I would have done that when I was 19, 20 years old, I probably would have been completely fine. Just because over the years, like my body adapted to the stresses I was putting on it. And then I just totally threw it a curveball that I wasn't ready for. So,
Yeah.
your body will definitely respond to the stresses that, even, back when I went to Jim Jones, I was in the best shape of my life, like cardiovascular wise, easily, like cranking out all kinds of conditioning workouts. And then, we play basketball or flag football. Like I was gassed just because it's a completely different type of conditioning. Like I was totally gassed, being conditioned on a rower and then going out and sprinting and running routes and trying to keep up with somebody like on the football field, completely different type of conditioning. So,
Yeah.
definitely your body adapts to the specific type of stress for sure.
Which is why nowadays you see kids, it's no more all around athletes, man. They pick a sport and they go all in. Like the world we live in nowadays, like you have to like eat it, live it, breathe it if you want to be the best at it. It's just
Yeah. Which honestly, it really uh, handcuffs kids like athletic ceiling. Like if there's any kids out there listening to this, like if you're, you know, not in high school yet, or even in your freshman year or something, like try to participate in as many sports as you possibly can. Like do not specialize early because you are going to really dwarf your athletic ability as you get older when you do that. Like it's unfortunate that that's the mindset. Like I understand the mindset. Like, oh, like, Tiger Woods ruined it for everybody. Like Tiger Woods did one sport from when he was like 5 years old, and now everybody thinks if you want to be legit that you have to do that. But in actuality, it's the complete opposite. Like if you look at like a lot of the NFL guys that just got drafted in like the top 10, I guarantee you a majority of them were multi-sport athletes. Like you are extremely more athletic with the more type of athletic environments that you're subject to. So
look at Antonio Gates, arguably the greatest tight end of all time, didn't even play football up until he graduated from college. He was a fucking basketball player. He was
like
just
Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was like that too.
who?
Jimmy Graham, he was a
Oh yeah.
basketball.
Yeah, like I mean,
Like
yeah, I
look at
don't,
LeBron. Like look at LeBron, probably one of the freakiest athletes of all time. Like he played football too. Like he could like there was a lot of talk of him. Like there's always like those rumors. I feel like there's a rumor every year, or at least a post that just like hints at him playing in the NFL or something like that.
yeah, I
But
think LeBron could have been a stud wide receiver or tight end. I mean, he's a big boy. Did
yeah.
you see what Mike Evans said about LeBron? You'll like this. From our
Uh-uh.
Mike Evans said, not he's like it's laughable that there's even discussion about who the greatest basketball player of all time is. He's like, LeBron James not only is the greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron James is the greatest athlete of all time.
So I'm trying to tell you guys.
Like,
I saw something the other day that said the only reason that MJ because like they've been sitting on this footage for how long?
I know that is
This
weird.
shit is like over 20 years old, and like all of a sudden now like they're just gonna put this together. And it took time to record all these interviews and all this shit. It's like they've been working on this for a couple of years. And they said the whole reason that MJ finally agreed to do this was because after LeBron won that last title in Cleveland, like he didn't like the rumblings of like who the greatest was all time. Like he was actually starting to feel like his throne was being threatened. So that's why he finally agreed to do
Oh,
it.
I would agree. I would totally buy that. Jordan, dude, Jordan is he's still competitive, man. He even says it. Like
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. So like even Jordan's feeling the heat, dude. That's what I'm telling you.
like Jordan has that mindset where unfortunately he's probably gonna like he's gonna go to his grave kind of like unhappy. Like he has that mindset where no matter what his accomplishments like is not enough for him.
Yeah.
He's that
Well,
guy.
that's his bait. Like essentially, that's his. That mindset was his greatest blessing, but it's also his, it's going to be his greatest curse at the same time. I think a lot of really successful people have something like that. Like it's we even have this idea as like a show. Like you know my mindset is very similar as like how extreme I view things. Like it's sometimes it's my greatest asset, but then sometimes it really causes me some issues. So that's a show for another time. But
Yeah, but
yeah.
all right, well, I mean, this is a little quick little. I think it was quick, about a half hour maybe. Um, but yeah, I think there's some little bit of value in there. More so like a little trip down memory lane. But 28.
28. Yeah, it's I tell you, it's it's like these last couple birthdays. I think last year was the first one, and now everyone's just like that. But like, you know, I was 23, 24, all that stuff. Like, just birthday comes, like, oh yeah, it's just another number. But now the numbers are like starting to kind of get in my head a little bit. I'm like, man, that sounds kind of old. Like, what really messes me up, what I really hate now is like when, like, we just watched the NFL draft, and it's like, oh, you know, DeAndre Swift, Lions running back, just got drafted, was born in freaking 2000. I'm like, what? like, what? Like, what the hell? Like, no, I was like in like fourth grade. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, DeAndre Swift was born when I was in like middle school. Like, what the hell's going on right now? Like, that's what really fucks me up.
What
Like,
really messes, yeah, you're right about that, because like I equate a lot of stuff. Being sports fans, like we're in it. So like, what really jacks me up is when I'm watching the NFL, and so much so that like let me find like a good example of like also Mark Sanchez, who was on Pat McAfee's show the other day. Like, dude, I remember his rookie year very clearly. Like, to me, like, he was drafted not that long ago. Dude's been out of the league for like 3-4 years. I'm like, what?
yeah,
Like Stafford now.
yeah,
Stafford
him and
ended his
Stafford.
career.
Yeah, him and Stafford came out the same year. They were always compared to each other. But like, that's what messes me up is like, because I've been watching football since I was just a little kid. Like, I just look at NFL players as like these grown men, like these men that are bigger than life kind of things, like these warriors of the gridiron. And then I see like the new crop coming in, and I'm like, I'm not like the same age. I'm like 8 years older than these guys. I'm almost like a decade older than these guys. I'm like, wait a second. Like, when did this shit happen? like I can't look up to these guys as men now. Like, I'm like a decade older than, like, these are kids, and I'm like a grown man now. So it's like that's an interesting change of a dynamic. Like, that's what really messes me up the most, man. That's what I really don't like. Not to mention, these guys are signing freaking. I like to think of myself as like a strong dude, a pretty athletic dude, and these guys. I'm training kids in college. I'm training kids playing like Division I baseball and stuff like that. And like, this is the level, like, these guys are going and signing multi-million-dollar contracts, and I'm just like sitting over here, like, in my house recording this freaking podcast. like what am I doing? Like, where did I go wrong?
Yeah,
But
dude. Like,
it's just
me and LeBron James are the same exact age.
yeah.
LeBron is a month older than me. Like, think about that.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's life, man. Just never stops, man. Can't beat Father Time. He never stops. He never stops trucking. So it's that
Nope.
tough. You can't even sustain. Like, it's either you're moving forward or you're going backwards, because time doesn't stop moving forward. So if you're
Time's
complacent,
ultimate currency.
yeah, if you're complacent and stagnant, then just by default you're gonna move backwards. So just gotta keep on, like I said, focus on today. Put your best foot forward. Keep moving forward, and do what you can, man. But I'm excited. I'm excited to hang out tonight.
Yeah.
On some
I haven't had
pizza.
pizza in a while, so I'm stoked.
You what?
I haven't had pizza in a while, so I'm stoked. Like, good real pizza in a while.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to chill with the boys, and maybe tonight, maybe we'll do like a best series of three. We'll see who the greatest of all time is, LeBron or Jordan. A little 2K action. So.
Game blows.
Just because we suck at it.
All right. Well, I need to eat some breakfast. I'll see you in a couple hours for our workout.
Yes, sir.
All right. Almost forgot. Find us on the podcast, Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube channel, Roy Boy, all at Roy Boy Standard. Give us a review. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. And
Yeah, let's get this podcast huge. Like, maybe we can get like a deal like Joe Rogan soon.
dude, Rogan just signed the ultimate deal.
Yeah, guys, like this show. Tell us what you want us to talk about. We'll grow it up nice and big. We'll sign $100 million contract, and like, like we'll be good to go. Hey, free gym membership for everybody.
We'll give it
That's
that. Oh, dude, if we sign $100 million, we're gonna have the greatest Roy Boys gym of all time.
yeah. Roy Boy's gym slash studio slash whatever the hell else we want it to be. Freaking movie theater.
Dude,
Seriously.
sick.
WWE training facility. Let's throw a ring in there.
Heck yeah, I'm down with that.
That would be the ultimate. Like if I like legitimately, like I would want like a freaking 15,000 square foot facility where I would have the sickest, like actually like weight room area. I would have like a straight up. I would have like a
Well,
boxing ring.
you never watched Pat McAfee show, have you?
No.
He has that in Indianapolis. He has this podcast studio. Then next door, he has a half court basketball court. And then in another area, he has a wrestling ring.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I would have either a wrestling ring that could double as like a boxing ring because I love boxing too, and then sick weight room area. I would have like a studio. I would have a library. I'd have a library slash sick ass office. Like 100. I would have a turf. Definitely a basketball court. Um, yeah, man. And then yeah, why not? Like let's throw freaking movie theater in there too. Sickest theater ever. That would be awesome.
Well, step one, here we go. So I'm 35. So let's say by the time you're 38, by the time I'm 45, that's our goal. Long-term future 10 plan.
10 years from now, that's the plan. That's the goal.
I mean, I'm a little older, so I'd like to have it maybe a little sooner than
that. Hey, sitting at 40, what? 10 years from now, that'd be what? You're 45. Hey, that's not bad. 45.
I mean, The Rock was pretty damn good at 45, so I mean,
Rock's 48 now, isn't he?
You might be. I don't know.
He's 48. He just turned 48. He was born in 72.
Rock's 48?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of The Rock, I mean, we got our gear. Let's get a Project Rock freaking sponsorship on the nobody freaking pitches The Rock more than us.
Instantly just got 10 years younger right there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did not shave my face and all that stuff because I'm worried about getting older. Totally fucked up my haircut the other day, so had to just short hair, cut my beard.
It's all right. I got it going now.
Yeah, I passed my beard gains on to William.
So
yeah, you gotta carry the torch. Just wait until tonight though when we see Joey. Joey will put us all to shame.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's got the Jesus beard.
He texted me, he's like, oh, also, don't be alarmed when I come over tonight because I look like a homeless person. Can't wait.
All right, guys. No, we're done blabbling, but here we go. We're out this for real this time. Roy Boy Standard. Till next time.